What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about the top 5 squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list for this upcoming week. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as data points, you don't have all that much. Of course, Monday is more of a technical driven day. Tuesday, the market does close at 1 o'clock. Then you have obviously Christmas on the 25th, so the market is closed. And then 26th, 27th is kind of the normal day. But essentially, it is rather short. And one thing that just came out on Friday evening was this. So there is going to be no government shutdown. And what does that mean essentially for stocks? Historically, that causes a little bit of a bump up in the stock price. But then again, in my opinion, this kind of whole government shutdown scenario hasn't really caused that much damage to the broader market. So come Monday, you might see a little bump up in the stock price associated to this, but don't anticipate anything crazy. But getting right to it, that's a lot of the data points and some things to kind of keep in mind for this upcoming week. Stock number 5, you do have ticker SIDU. Time of doing this video, $3.96, down 19.68% on Friday. So quite the pullback. Over the last 1 year, it is up 10.31, and in 2024, down 55.05%. But this list right here is based on the short score. So the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. And as I've brought up in previous videos, that is comprised of several things: utilization, number of shares being shorted, as well as cost to borrow. So this is why sometimes you don't get the most heavily shorted stocks on here, because it sometimes makes up other aspects to a squeeze. So having a high cost to borrow is a good deterrent, as well as high utilization. A lot of things kind of make up for a good squeeze stocks, but this short score right here is a good ratio for that. But 63.85% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 2.54 million shares. Cost to borrow average is 530.77%. And just generally looking over here, shorts have started to really get in on this company as of late. So roughly beginning of December, short interest was 6%. So definitely something happening with this. And then through IBKR does indicate around 15,000 shares is available to be shorted. So this is stock number 5. Moving on to stock number 4, ticker's NUKK. And so at the time of doing this video, $40.01. It did go down 23.21% on Friday. And over the last 1 year, though, still doing relatively okay, up 35.17, and in 2024, up 74%. But last month, still up 2,200%. So fairly good stuff in that regard. On a side note, I guess I'm taking it for granted, the fact that you guys might know what these companies are, but this is the company profile, so feel free to pause and go through it if need be. But going on over here, short score is 81.09. Utilization 93.91. 61.34% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 726,000 shares. That is exactly what the market likes to squeeze. Heavily shorted stocks, low float, so that meets that criteria. But it gets a little bit better because the cost to borrow is, or the average, is 835.64%. That's an annual rate on a side note. That's definitely not daily, but something to definitely keep in mind. Through IBKR does indicate around 45,000 shares is available to be shorted. So again, this is stock number 4. Moving on to stock number 3, a very popular one, ticker QUBT. 1762 at the time doing this video, did go up 16.38% on Friday. Over the last 1 year, though, it is up 1,836%. In 2024, pretty much up the same for the most part. This is what they do, so feel free again to pause it and read through it. Based out of the States, 44 employees, but 82.02% is that short score. 22.19% of the free float is being shorted. Utilization is 100%. So this is a good example of what I mean. You don't need the short interest to be at 50% for a high short score, because given the market momentum with the stock price, the cost to borrow average as well being 365%, this kind of meets all the bars for it to be a fairly good squeeze. And plus, Aside from that, the company, or I guess the shorts, have really gone in from this company. Low recently was 10%, so they are starting to get back in on a side note. And then it does indicate around 2,000 shares is available to be shorted. So very limited supply. And typically what you do see is larger entities buying these stocks just for the purposes of lending out shares. It's a very profitable business. So you could see that happening this upcoming week. So this is stock number 3. Moving on to stock number 2, ticker's GRRR, if I'm saying that right. Gorilla Technology, $13.37, up 4.99% on Friday. Over the last 1 year, up 142%, and in 2024, up 147%. Over the last 1 month, though, up a cool 250%. This is what they do. So application services, 242 employees. This one is based out of good old London, England, but short score 82.03, so 0.01 ahead of the previous one, but nonetheless 14.19% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 1.46 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost per average 164.56%, and just generally shorts have really gone back in on this company. Recent short interest, the low was 3%, so shorts are definitely all over this company. Does indicate around 3,000 shares is available to be shorted. So like I mentioned, you might see some buying corresponding with this just to lend out shares. But nonetheless, moving on to stock number 1. So the most heavily squeezed stock for going into this upcoming week, and that is ticker LUXH. So time of doing this video, 99 cents, did go down 11.16% on Friday. Over the last 1 year, down 99.7%, and in 2024, down 99.76%. So not the best performer, but industry, real estate operating companies. This is a company profile based out of good old Miami, but short score 82.38%. Utilization is 97.18%. 38.34% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 595,000 shares. So another low float company that's heavily shorted. Exactly what the market likes to squeeze. Cost to borrow average 269.85%. So definitely this one could be a potential squeeze, especially more so based on just the market momentum really propelling it higher, and everything does indicate around 200 shares is available to be shorted. So you could see some buying corresponding with this. So what is your viewpoint on the top 5 most heavily shorted stocks going into this upcoming week based on, of course, short score? Is there any other stocks that you feel is a squeeze play? There's a couple that come to mind, but again, based on this, it goes based on short score, just to kind of meet the criteria. So with all that, hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. One final thing I wanted to share with you though, even though it's not squeeze related, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have already doubled, quadrupled, as a lot of them just up generally 50% in the month and a half that I've launched it. So it's worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said though, appreciate all of you guys watching.